Hi everyone, welcome to DOdaily Tuesday training. It's Des here, checking in with my thoughts, trying to process everything that's gone by recently and look forward and be really enthusiastic about what's next. Of course, those who watch regular will probably realise that I've had a little bit of time out from filming, whilst I love to get on every day, and it's really important to me, this channel, and trying to encourage good health and well-being and good positive mental health. I just felt, for my own kind of sanity, I needed a little bit just to sort of regroup and refine that enthusiasm to keep doing the things I do, to keep trying to pay it forward and help people wherever I possibly can. Of course, that's what the channel's all about, trying to promote good, solid mental health. When things aren't going so well, I try to pass on the way I'm thinking and how sometimes we can do certain things just to drag ourselves through. And I guess to some degree, that's what I've been doing. A week last Sunday, I competed in the London Marathon. Didn't go to plan. Talk more about that a little bit later, but having done this now for 3 years, which coincidentally was last week, it just felt like the time, after being slightly inconsistent, just to take that week out, and hopefully come back with extra vigour and vibrancy to keep doing what I do. Of course, whilst I'm doing all those things, I try to encourage a little bit of exercise and well-being, and I'm out at the moment, as you can see, great scene behind me, one of my new favourite spots actually, and a brand new path which extends the river route along the side where I live. You'll often find me over that side walking a bit further, but it's just a nice place, quite quiet. It's great when I need to take the dog for a walk. I wish I'd been out running. I'd probably have a lot more to say, and probably would have been in and on last week if I'd got plenty of running in. But the injury I picked up just before the London Marathon, which was frustrating, which really knocked me out my stride with my training. I wasn't in a perfect place to start with, but really knocked me out. Meant that I had to somehow get through it. It took me a very long time. Doesn't really matter. I got the medal to prove that I did it. But again, as somebody who wants to put a lot into what they do and try and be an example, and sometimes try and provide that little bit of inspiration, it's nice to do these things well. Didn't quite work out. So all in all, it was just a case for me last week of almost just accepting where things are at, accepting that probably got to go again, almost, I guess, if anything, thinking about this past 3 years of filming day in, day out, every weekday at least, of hitting that reset button. And I guess that's where I'm at with the running, the DOdaily, and many other things I do. And I think sometimes it's really important to kind of get back there. Some of the things I said around the London Marathon and why that was important to me, just took me back to a point when things wasn't so great. I'm not saying they're absolutely amazing right now, but there wasn't always absolutely fantastic. And right now, whilst I've got frustrations in terms of what I do to keep myself well and sane, I've also got a happier existence, and I guess that's always nice to fall back on. When I won't say the material things, because they're things I have to work hard and really work at, when they're not quite working, it's just nice to know that family life, home life, being able to get out and about if you're carrying an injury, still being able to walk about with a dog. He's absolutely loving it. He does love it down here. He's always in and out of something. And again, I'm killing two birds with one stone. Set myself a few targets for the month, as I always do, to try and sort of build back up, build some momentum again, to get back to a nice level of fitness. But it's just about being really realistic right now. And I guess what I have done over the last week after London, realising that really tired, it's about being realistic, taking that break, taking that time out and resetting. Like I say, lots of different thoughts went through my head after London, and whilst I was there, to be honest, I spoke about it on my own social media last week in a bit of a blog about how I I love the moment before and where it takes me back to. And again, I guess that all ties in with this. It's almost that reset to a time when, or an understanding that it was the times that didn't go so well that make me determined to be that little bit better now, and to do some of the things I'm talking about. So hopefully you get all that. Hopefully you get where I'm coming from, and you'd like to tune in and see how I'm going. All I try to do when it's not quite working for me is explain to people that I might have done it this way, or I might have got it wrong this way, and somehow help and encourage people to do it slightly better. I don't want to preach at anyone. Don't want to make it one of these mental health channels that tells you about the neuroscience behind this, or the technicalities behind this, or why this happened hundreds of years ago. You know, it's just an understanding how someone normal goes about it. So what I will say before I go any further, if you do enjoy this kind of thing, if you enjoy somebody trying to help or just want to support me and the channel, you know, it'd be fantastic if you could subscribe, drop this a like. All I'm trying to do at the start of the week, normally on a Monday, but again, I just had that extra day just to sort of regroup back into it. It was bank holiday as well, so it was almost like the weekend, but an extra day to get back into things and really feel like I can push on again. It's been a busy one, it's been tough, but what I try to do on the start of the week is almost just encourage everybody to think about ways where they can find time and effort to do the things they enjoy. For me, it's all that running, all this activity with the dog, you know, get those endorphins flowing, get them built, work off the daily motivations, Monday motivation, Tuesday training, Wednesday workout, you know, and just keep ticking over with a little bit of exercise to help all those things. Being out here tonight in this absolutely amazing location, which I'll never take for granted, you know, is a fantastic place to collect all my thoughts on what's gone today. If I'm honest, been a little bit not stressful's the wrong word, been a bit irritated by one or two things. Work's been particularly busy, again, not being able to do what I want in terms of my own activity. Lucky enough to put on a coaching session for some guys who like what I do and the way I encourage, you know, probably a little bit hard on them, but the reality is, again, it's about doing what we have to do to get the best results. And sometimes, well, all the time, I think this is what I want to emphasize through this as much as anything. Honesty is the best form. You know, if we can be honest and straightforward and say things as we see them, it's what I try to do every single day on DOdaily. It's not me being wishy-washy for the sake of it. You know, I want to be somebody who supports and encourages, and if we can find a way to explain to people that they need to take time for themselves, that's absolutely important. So every Monday or Tuesday as it is today, I'll be on encouraging us to have a fantastic week, trying to find the good things in what I've done, you know, what I'm looking forward to, make sure I get my runs in, enjoy my football, enjoy other things, because life can really climb on top of us. And I'm saying that already. I've been back at work one day after the long bank holiday weekend, and situations are a little bit like, God, that's that, and this is that, and I just need this time. I've almost only just finished work, and whilst I'm still filming, you know, kind of a little bit like work, but I really enjoy doing this as well. And if I don't do this, I do feel a little bit of remorse. Last week felt a lot of that, to be honest. Like I said, I could have celebrated the fact it was 3 years of DOdaily, doing a YouTube channel, which gets me right out my comfort zone, gets me miles and miles out of it. Some people look at it, scoff, perhaps laugh at it, perhaps don't know what I'm talking about, you know, and question what I do. But at the end of the day, I know I do this for good, genuine reasons of wanting to help, support and encourage, and be that sounding board for be that soft approach to mental health, I guess. You know, somebody who experiences tricky situations, and like I say, I'm feeling them right now. Things are irritating me a little bit in the fact that I can't exactly do what I want to do, you know, especially with my exercise. Tonight I would have loved to have been part of the coaching session, because that would have almost been my way. Well, it's always my way of writing off the day and the bad things that have gone before and feeling positive, taking a real positive out of the day. Don't get me wrong, there's lots of positives to take forward. As I've said, I'm out now, I'm doing what I need to do. The injury it's not affecting me too much. My ankle's a bit sore, but again, it could have completely wiped me out of the marathon last week, and it didn't. What it did is create me a lot of tiredness and a lot of irritation, a word I keep using, and then I completed it. So we've got to find the positive, haven't we? We've got to do what we have to do sometimes, and that's all I'm doing now, hopefully trying to encourage you guys to find time. This is my time, it's the end of the day, you know. Kay's at home cooking tea and doing what she needs to do, so we can sit down and get a bit of time back for ourselves after the way I felt. To be honest, she's feeling a little bit the same. Things can get a little bit overwhelming. I'm sure she won't mind me using her as an example, but things can get that little bit overwhelming and really get on top of us. But what we have to do is sorry, let me just get the dog. Dan, come on. Yeah, things can get that little bit. Come on, boy. Sorry, he's chasing some cyclist. Things can get that. Good boy. Good boy, he's just jumped up me now. Look at him, there he is. Yeah, things can get that just that little bit overwhelming and easily creep up on us. So for me, it's about on a day like today, just encouraging the activity we've got. Come on, you. He's getting distracted now. Come on. Yeah, it's just about sort of getting on top of the situations and doing whatever we can to be positive. Like I say, find time. On a Wednesday, I always talk about trying to squeeze in some real activity. I do a running group just over the bridge there, where I encourage people to take time, even when the week is busy. Do you know, I've mentioned it already today. By Wednesday, we can be completely sort of overtaken by it, you know, and what's happening around us and work and the pressures of family life, and we forget to give ourselves that time. I always call it false economy, you know. So again, it's just a reason why I'm doing what I do now, to get these thoughts out of my mind, you know. I could easily go home and sit down and leave it another day and think it doesn't really matter, it's my channel, I choose to do it. But that's not the point. It's what I enjoy, it's what gets me through, and hopefully the messages somewhere get transmitted to people who might not be feeling fantastic. This all comes from a point where I wasn't feeling good about myself, you know, but I find a way to be honest and sort of open and transparent, too much so sometimes, some people would say, but it's the way I have to deal with things. If it's out there, if it's off my chest, I can start putting it right. So I'd always encourage, as much as these motivations work off activity and positivity and encouragement, people around me are probably fed up with me saying that, I'd always encourage communication as well. Of course, this is one way for me. It's a chance for people to look in who might not be feeling confident and comfortable with life, but it shows that we all experience the same sort of feelings, different day, same old shit sometimes, you know. And as much as life can be good, you know, at times we're only just around the corner from a little bit of a mishap. I feel right now that in some ways, and I'll be completely honest now, kind of been teetering on the brink with the way I've been feeling. You know, some of those frustrations I mentioned earlier in the episode could have really climbed over me, but some honest, deep thinking, you know, answering some questions that I probably didn't want to myself, have just put me back in a point where I'm ready to go again. That reset button I mentioned right at the start, if we sort of go back and think, it doesn't matter, you know, some people, some situations are sent to testers and triers, and, you know, people, situations, work, injuries, all come and go, you know, but we have to do our best to make sure we're in the best place we possibly can be. So that's what I'm all about on a Monday. It's definitely what I like to do. I'd love to be that person who's gone out and been the model example of how we need to do this, and now he's chasing ducks into the water. I'd love to be that model professional of how things should be done properly, but that's not me, that's not what it's about, that's not what the channel is supposed to be. It's that real, raw, realistic and raw approach that like I say might just help somebody who doesn't want to be preached at, and that's what I do. So hopefully, you know, after that marathon, you know, in a couple of weeks when the injury's gone, I can use all the determination it gave me, and it did. That's the frustration right now. I fell in love with running before I got to a fair level. Again, I've said many times I've not got to a great level, but I fell in love with my running, and then doing the marathon, doing it well for part of it, made me realise that I can actually do this again. You know, if I train well, if I work hard at it, show the determination levels I have done in the past, I can really get to it. So giving myself that little bit of time out, giving myself just doing it again, giving myself that little bit of time out, you know, just give me the chance to go again. And one thing I always say on DOdaily, whatever day it is, especially nearer the start of the week than the end, is it's an opportunity to go again. Hopefully you have a fantastic week, guys. If you've got anything to ask me on the back of what I said, any comments, you know, if you know anybody who will benefit from this, and somebody just being out there and honest about themselves, please pass it on. Please give it a thumbs up, like I say. Please do subscribe to the channel. All I'm trying to do is, with the best intentions, help and support, you know, first and foremost myself, but others at the same time. And that's a great feeling when we're not absolutely tip top, as probably evidenced and proved so far tonight. The best thing we can do is start to help others, and when we do that, you know, it all ends up working out just exactly as we need it to be. So until that next episode, Wednesday workout, I appreciate you watching, checking in. Don't forget that like button one final time. Just doing it.